Why?
The trumpets blasted, but all I heard was you. Even when you spoke to the children of Israel, and all they could hear caused fear. I rejoice to the sound in Ruth Boaz.
Morning. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas.
You called my name, I did not hide. So in my heart, you could abide in the east of Eden, the garden you planted. I am in you, and you in I. Only in your
What's up, man?
What is going on, bro?
Oh, not much.
You got some time to rock and roll, or are you gonna be a Christmas?
Yeah, I was hoping that you would have started this now because my wife's family's having like a get together at 12, so this is perfect.
All right, awesome. So we got at least a good hour. Let's just make sure we get a good hour in. We should be fine.
Yes. Perfect.
All right. All right, we left. Oh, what was that? Come on now. All right, we left off. We were talking about, let's see, like how we should be able to tell if someone in a story is lying or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
The Samson thing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So not just Samson, but in the garden, where people cannot tell that Eve has been deceived at this point, and they believe her.
I'm still in shock about that.
Yeah. Yep. So this has been ministered to people and preached this way for so long that when someone hears something different, they just have to automatically disown the idea. But the truth is, she was either deceived or she wasn't. It's one or the other. And so if she was deceived, and then right before she eats it, she says these quote unquote convincing words to herself. Wow. This tree is good for food. I mean, you can see the deception. She's been deceived. So if the Bible is telling us she was deceived, you can't say she wasn't deceived right before she ate it. That's the whole point. She was deceived right before she ate it. That is literally the entirety of this story. But because we see Adam and Eve as people we're supposed to trust, right?
Yeah, that stupid ass bitch ate the apple. What a stupid ass. Fuck that bitch.
Whoa.
And Adam, he a sin.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Hey, you gotta be careful who you let up.
Who let that person up, man? Guys, I told you, y'all
ask first.
Y'all can't just be letting people up, man. Come on now. I don't know how many times I got to say this. Y'all need to be asking, hey, there's someone in the box, or do y'all know this person or something? If you know them, then you can let them up. But if you don't know who they are, letting them up here so they can act crazy. Man, I don't know what's going on right here, though. It's kind of odd. More than once today. Yeah, so trust me, man, when I was studying this out myself, And very slowly, I'm telling you, very slowly, I was literally trying to pay attention to detail. Am I going to miss some things here and there? I can prove it to myself. I don't have to tell anybody. I proved it to myself. Oh, wait a minute. I missed that. Oh, wait a minute. I'm telling you, if people were just honest, to themselves, they would read it a lot slower, the Bible, and they would slowly allow one little truth at a time to start sticking. But again, these truths only stick based on other truths. Like you just can't make it say something, right? Like when people hear me say things like when it says, and when she saw that the tree was good for food and pleasant to the eyes, and they go, no, you can't just go off that. I'm like, what do you mean, bro? What are you talking about? I'm not trying to just go off that, okay? But it's like, was she deceived or not? Oh, yeah, she was. Where? At what point are you claiming she's deceived?
Yes.
And they're like, oh, well, I thought you were saying, I don't care what you thought I was saying. I was reading you scripture and you don't know what it's saying. I don't care what you thought I was saying. I can't tell you how many times people have come up here, oh, you're saying, and I'm like, hold on a second. Where did you hear me say that? Where? I didn't say nothing you just said. And so they just turn their ears off regarding anything else you're saying because it's them again misunderstanding what they're hearing. They misunderstand what they read. They misunderstand what I'm saying. Like, you can't live your life based on misunderstandings. At some point, you have to understand something. You can't just like, oh, well, it sounds like you're saying this, so I'm running. Well, it sounds like, it's like, your husband or wife goes to the store and they're gone literally the time it takes to get over there, come back 5 minutes, and you're like, hey, so where exactly were you? It's like, come on, do the math. Why would you even ask that? If it takes 3 minutes to get to the store and it takes 3 minutes to get back, and they went in there and got an item, let's say milk. In Walmart, you got to go all the way to the whole back of the building. So you go all the way to the back of the building and back, that's another 2 or 3 minutes. They were gone exactly 9 minutes. That's about as long as that takes. Like, I'm just saying, like, come on, putting 2 and 2 together shouldn't be so hard. I can understand why you can question some things, but you can't just question everything. You study it out yourself, and the questioning will stop. Hold on a second. All right. Where are we at? Obviously, we're still talking about, Mike was asking a question, what did Adam and Eve eat in the garden? And it still blows my mind that you have people who've been Christians 20, 30 years, and no one has discipled them and went through this story so they can see exactly what has taken place. It's not just as simple as saying, oh, well, they were deceived by Satan. First of all, that's the very basic understanding of what happened. So if that's all someone is asking you, if they were deceived, then you would tell them, yes, they were. But if they're asking, hey, well, can you kind of show like how or why or what's going on here? You should be able to go through there at least a little bit, okay? You don't got to go as through in depth as I've been going for the past few days, but you should be able to go through there at least a little bit, man. And to sit there and say that there's not an eyesight change that happens. There's an eyesight, right? So the part we'll talk about a little bit today is that when it says, right, regarding Eve, right, and it says that the woman said that this tree is pleasant, is good for food, it's pleasant to the eyes, and it's a tree to make one wise. When she said this, she was deceived already. So the question is, this is where a big confusion comes from, and everybody think it's coming from me. It's not coming from me. It's not coming from God. God is just telling the truth on what happened. It is your job to figure out what exactly happened. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. So it says that God planted all the trees in the garden that were pleasant to the eyes. So the other side, another side of this, because this it's almost never ending. It's a huge thing that happens here. But because she's listening to Satan, she starts seeing his point of view. She starts seeing things his way. That's why she says, isn't Christmas a pagan holiday? I don't know where you guys hear this stuff. Christmas, okay, Christmas, the way America does Christmas, it's not a pagan holiday. There were pagans back in the day. They used to cut trees down, and that's paganism, right? To cut a tree down and decorate it and like make it look like a part of your body. These people would make trees look like humans, and when I say humans, I mean the anatomy of the entire human. Okay, so they would make a tree. It'd be a guy well endowed, all right, or a woman that's overly grown in certain areas, and you know that stuff is paganism. Okay, so yes, from the time that we know people cut trees down, people would cut trees down and use them for all kinds of things. Okay, if cutting trees down is paganism, then you can't use wood to build your house. That's how stupid that is. Okay, the action of cutting a tree down is not pagan. All right. The Bible talks about, God talks about the axe lying at the base of the tree. So God's pagan. So no, pagans took the idea of cutting trees down and they started using the trees to worship. They were worshiping their tree. All right. So there's going to be many things in history that is going to show us, people cutting trees down. People cutting trees down for many reasons, okay? All those people are not pagans. People that took a tree and they're using the leaves to like put on top of their house, right? To help like kind of waterproof the house. They're not pagans because they cut a tree down, right? But the action of cutting a tree down, right? Holding it at the base, right? So it don't titter or totter, and you got to drag this thing out of the woods and they decorate it with gold and silver. Yes, 100%. There are people who claim they're celebrating Christmas, but they turn their tree into an idol. There are people that do this. I don't care what anybody says. Yes, they do. Matter of fact, if you tell them they can't put a Christmas tree up, they'll fight you for it. You've turned your tree into an idol at this point. It's not that serious. Okay, so no. Christmas, regarding the birth of Jesus, is not a pagan holiday. Jesus's birth is not paganism. He was born into this world, and we honor that day. And it may be pagans to pagans. Okay, so if you're a pagan and you go, y'all are pagans, well, that's why we're pagans, because y'all are pagans. And then there's the battle between flesh and the spirit, right? The spirit and flesh are enmity to one another. So if you're a pagan and you call what we're doing paganism, well, we're both enmity to one another. So, let's see. Yeah, chop that timber. All right, so back to where this idea, where you have these people that are saying, they'll even say things like, well, what was the lie? You said they ate a lie. What lie did they eat? And it's like, do we really have to go over what lie? I mean, it says right there, you'll be like God. That was a lie. They were already like God in a sense of image and likeness. But when you pay attention to how he's telling them, oh, you'll be more like God. Like, bro, they couldn't be more like God if they tried. He had just made them. They were perfect. They were in his image and his likeness. They were what they were supposed to be. They couldn't be more of something. And so for Satan to come and lie to her and say, oh, you'll become more. I don't understand. That's a lie. That is a lie, what he said. And she believed that lie. Basically, if you listen to me, I'll teach you how to be more. Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying? Merry Christmas, Eric. Absolutely, man. Merry Christmas, bro. So again, you got to understand, trees are ministering spirits. Do you understand? Everyone keeps looking at this tree as though all they got to do is take the fruit and eat, and they listened, they ate of the tree. No, bro. No. They knew that these were ministering spirits. Adam and Eve knew that, and they knew they can receive understanding from them. Okay? If you don't understand that, I don't know why you're still reading the Bible in fairy tale land like you're 5. You're not 5 anymore, okay? You're not a child anymore. You grow up a little bit, okay? They knew this. Angels are ministering spirits, 100%. And what this tree is telling Eve is, let me be your teacher. You understand? I'll be your instructor. Me. Do you understand? I'll show you how to be like God. I'll show you how to be like God. This is what he's saying. This is not just a one-time, like, you know, again, the apple, one bite, oh, and they fall into death paradise. They're in death paradise now, right? Through eternity. No, he's telling them, let me be the one to feed you. Let me be the one to feed you. And God told them, or told Adam, don't listen to this one. Don't eat from this tree right here. But they did. But it's very important to know that Christians today, they don't want to fully understand what happened in the garden. They just want to say Adam and Eve disobeyed, and because they disobeyed, they got kicked out of the garden. And then now they see Adam and Eve kicked in the garden, and they're like, and this is God's word, and let's study his word. Like if what just happened in the garden is not his word. Like if you don't have, there's nothing to study there. Oh, no. There's a lot to study there. So God has a sight. God does. God has a way that he sees, and his sight is pleasant. That's how he sees. He has pleasant sight. And when it says that he planted all the trees in the garden that were pleasant to the sight, it means when he looks at them, they're pleasant. Not when Lucifer looks at them. They're not pleasant to him. They're not pleasant to Lucifer. Adam and Eve were perfect. And I'm going to send an elephant patty to Trot. An elephant patty? Better not. Oh, my Lord. What's going on over here? This guy, let's see, not passer, qualified. Now, you don't know nothing about me. You don't know if I'm qualified. You don't know any of that. You don't know any of that. You're just talking nonsense. What are you talking about? 2 people on here. No, you're the one lying. See that person right there? Neuter or whatever the heck his name is. Don't eat from that tree right there. That's a bad tree.
That's why I had to leave YouTube the other day. It was just getting crazy.
Yeah, no, it gets crazy in there. It get crazy in here too, man. People are tripping, dude. All right, so So the sights, this is what we're talking about today. The sights, right? What you're seeing, how you're viewing things. So it says that God planted all the trees that were pleasant to the sight, which means the tree of the knowledge of good and evil was not pleasant to Adam and Eve's sight. Understand what I'm saying? The tree of the knowledge of good and evil was not pleasant to Adam and Eve's sight, nor was it pleasant to God's sight. Lucifer was pleasant when God made him, but when iniquity was found in him, he was no longer pleasant. If that tree was pleasant to God's sight, he would have never told Adam and Eve, don't eat of it. He would have never told them, but he did. He told them not to eat of it because it was no longer pleasant. So this is where 99% of Christians, when they hear me say this right here, they disagree because it's them that doesn't understand what the Bible is saying. And there's a lot. It's a lot of people, a lot. And they'll go back again. When I'm saying this, that tree was not pleasant to Adam and Eve's sight, nor God's, they'll go to verse 6 in Genesis 2. And they'll read it. And this is what they're using to prove me wrong. This is what they're using right here. Oh, I'm sorry, not 2, 3. My bad. Apologize. And this is what they read right here. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and they'll harp on that. See, it was good for food. The tree was good. It says right there. Good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes. And I'm saying that it wasn't pleasant to their eyes. Understand the conflict here. I'm saying that the tree, the tree of knowledge of good and evil was not pleasant to Adam and Eve, nor was it pleasant to God. This is what my claim. It wasn't. But people say it is because God planted all the trees that were pleasant. And he did. He put Lucifer there. Lucifer was pleasant when he put him there. He was perfect. God made him. He didn't make him unperfect. But again, iniquity was found in him. And then he told Adam, hey, by the way, don't eat of that one right there. No longer pleasant. No longer pleasant, my friend. If he was still pleasant, God wouldn't have said, don't eat of that one. He would have told him, eat from the pleasant trees. Yes. But they read this right here. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food and pleasant and it says, to the eyes, and it says, and a tree to desire to make one wise, she took the fruit thereof and did eat and gave also to her husband with her, and he did eat. This is what they quote. They quote this right here, not understanding that Eve was deceived. She was deceived. So that means she was deceived to believe that tree was good for food and pleasant to the eyes. They don't see it that way because they see it as, no, she was deceived to eat of it. Right, bro. There's the 3 measures right here. Deceived. How? It was good for food, pleasant to the eye, a tree to make one wise. Same thing. Same thing. So it's the 3 measures again. And the tree wasn't good for food because it killed them. It's not pleasant to the sight. How do we know? Because God told them not to eat it. And God's sight is pleasant. He knows what's pleasant and what's not. And he told them not to eat it. And what's the jugular? What's the hit in the jugular? She was deceived. So this verse right here, 6, where it's telling us that, and when the woman saw, and when she saw, man, this is after much convincing. He convinced her this is a good idea. With enticing words, he made her believe this is okay. That's why it says, and when she saw that the tree was good for food, bro, that means she didn't see it good for food before. Why? Because she had God's sight. Her sight had changed based on this conversation that she's having. Her eyes were open. So when it says right here, and the eyes of them both were open, we read this right here, and the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked. My friend, her eyes were already open. She already viewed that tree. It says right here, that tree was pleasant to her eyes. It was pleasant to her eyes. The reason why it says, and both of their eyes were open is because right now it's just her. But when she gave the fruit to him, the words, the enticing words to him, now his eyes were open. And people try to teach this, that there is both happening at the same time. Again, I don't believe it's far apart, so I don't really harp or argue about that. Like, let's say she believed it, right? And then she went and told him these lies within an hour. I'm not going to sit here and argue that, well, her eyes were open for an hour. The point is, both of their eyes were open. They both saw that tree as pleasant, just like she did. Adam started seeing it that way.
I got a quick question.
Yeah.
Can we say or see that she already started to believe the lies? So then she was in a fallen state. So then when she was in a fallen state, that tree would look good to her because she was in a sin nature.
That's what I just said.
All right, well then maybe I just misunderstood it, but that's what I was.
Did anybody not hear me explain it that way?
No, that's what I heard, but that's what I wanted to like put in my mind.
Okay, yeah, no, that's the whole point. Like through the much convincing, she already started seeing this tree that's not pleasant. She started seeing it pleasant,
as pleasant.
Yeah,
Roger.
so
my bad, man.
yeah.
I've been sick.
No, you're good. You're good. The point is though, the fall could only happen if Adam fell. This is the whole point though. So she may have been at a state of what we could say fallen. We can say that, but they had to fall together. They had to fall together, right? Because Adam is the one that is head over her, and God is head over Adam. So because God is head over Adam, Adam's the one that has to fall, right? But again, through the much convincing, she started seeing this tree as pleasant. The tree's not pleasant. And there was if you want to call it a type of fall, obviously, because she fell for a lie. So there's a fall there, nonetheless. But the catapult fall is when Adam believed it, right? Because Adam, if you want to keep it real, Adam could have ministered to his wife and got her to understand differently again. You understand?
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, because he's head of her. So he could have like, hey, whoa, that tree's not, he could have. For anyone to say he couldn't have done that, yes, he could have.
As her covering.
As her covering, as her head. He could have 100% said, whoa, that's not true. No, we're not doing that. So what people are saying is, because they think it's a physical fruit, it's too late. She already ate it. No, bro. No. It's not like that. No. She believed a lie, but how many times have you met someone that believed a lie and then through a matter of time, they're like, oh man, I almost fully believed that. They were believing it.
We could say that, I'm sorry, I got the cold. We could say that he could have covered her nakedness at that point.
Well,
was she naked at that point?
They were both naked. Remember, right? It says they were naked and not ashamed, right? Both naked, right. Man and wife, and were not ashamed. That's verse 25. So okay. Genesis 2:25, they were naked, but they weren't ashamed, meaning they didn't have a covering. So it drives me crazy when people when they lie or they don't want to believe that Adam and Eve have not eaten of the tree of life. If they would have, they wouldn't be naked, bro. They would not be naked. Christ is a covering. He's a covering. So they were naked and they needed a covering. And what covering did they choose? The lie. And that's how they made Satan their father, Lucifer.
Could we phrase that as Christ's covering was removed at that point?
No, it was never put on. Okay. No,
well, that's why I wanted to make sure.
It wasn't. Yeah. So people will say they were already covered by God and all this. It's not true. They were not covered by God. Listen, God is so perfect. He gave Adam and Eve a choice to choose him or not. And people don't like that. People want to believe that that Adam and Eve didn't have to choose God. Again, making God a tyrant, but throughout the entire Bible, that's not what we see. We don't see that. What we see is you have to choose. That's what we see in the entire Bible. You have to choose. But yet when we get to the garden, now man don't choose now. That is not true. That is not true. And it's not fair to text. Yeah.
And we could say we know that they still didn't eat of the tree. They didn't have Christ because this is the reason he took them out, for they would not eat of the tree of life.
Yeah, right. But again, the argument there is people will say, well, they were eating from it. That's how they had eternal life, because they were eating from it. So the argument is, they were eating because they don't understand that Jesus is the tree of life. If you understood that Jesus was the tree of life, then you wouldn't say that. They still think these are physical trees. So basically, if you think they're physical trees, the whole doctrine goes this way. It goes this way. If you tell yourself the truth that these trees are actually representing Satan and Jesus, then you'll see the doctrine go in a complete different way. And they'll both say, oh, well, one's heresy, one's not. No, one's baby understanding and one is mature understanding. One is more mature, because they don't conflict. It's just that the other one is leading you to just only see things in the physical only. And the Bible makes it very clear that that's not the way. Okay, can you receive salvation that way? Absolutely. Salvation's easy. Salvation's not hard. God made sure that that's the thing. That's the most important thing, is to receive salvation. But the stuff that I go over is what God put there for people who wants to learn more. Not to receive a better salvation or a bigger or a better something. No. It's a tool for us to make disciples. That's why he put that there, which obviously is a very important part of being a follower of Christ, is to be fruitful and multiply. That's what he told Adam and Eve to do from the very beginning, and they didn't do it. So the Bible makes it clear that sin is not only when you're doing something you're not supposed to do, but when you know you're supposed to do something and you don't do it. So you want to hit somebody hard who believes that they're under the law, tell them, are you fruitful and multiply? Because that's a sin. You want to play these games about sin is bad. Are you fruitful and multiplying? Are you making disciples? Because according to your logic, not doing what God is telling you to do is sin. Well, are you fruitful? Do you multiply? Are you making disciples? If you say no, you're sinning. Period. It's a sin. So
you got to guess.
Oh, okay. Where? Oh, Jennifer. Jennifer, what's up? What's on your mind? Jennifer, you there? Oh. Okay, I don't know what happened.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so, but the sight, which is really what I'm focused on, the sight is very important in the Bible. When you understand that the five senses that we have, God has five senses, but they're spiritual. They're not like ours, right? Our senses are what we can see, smell, taste, hear, feel, right? These are our five senses. And people utilize those five senses in a way, a lot of times, that they're not supposed to be used. Your five senses are not supposed to tell you what's real. Your five senses are not supposed to tell you what's real regarding God. You can't use your God is not tangible. You cannot use your five senses to somehow make God tangible. It'll never happen. So, but God has senses too. Okay? He's got the same five senses that we have, he has. But he utilizes those five senses only to recognize his son. God doesn't sleep, and at night his smoke alarm goes off and he wakes up, I can smell smoke. That's not what he uses his five senses for. His five senses are only used for his son, and he shows us his senses in the Old Testament in its entirety. On time and time again, you'll see him telling the high priests, right? The Levitical priests, you'll see him telling them to do certain things. He'll say, I want you to take this and I want you to take that. And he says, and I want you to burn it so it can be an aroma to me. Why does he need to smell? Why? Why does God need to smell? You know why? Because he has senses. There's only one smell that he recognizes, and it's the aroma of Christ. My son who has the smell of the field. Isaac says this when he's about to bless Jacob. He says, come here so I can smell you. If you pay attention to this story, you will see what it is I'm telling you. Just this one story explains a lot of them. But it says that God has a smell, that there's a sweet aroma that he has. He has a taste, which is that venison that you see Jacob's mom make and give to Isaac. There's a taste. So Jesus has a smell. Jesus has a taste. And he has a feel. He tells Jacob, come to me so I can feel you. And he was hairy. Why? Because Esau was hairy and he was red. So there's even a look. There's even a look. But you see Isaac, it says that his eyes were dim. So he couldn't look. He couldn't look to see if he was ruddy. And if I haven't went over that, well, maybe one day I'll do. That's a little long. I feel like I have though. But there's a look that he has, right? And God sees the ruddiness in his son. Why? That's why Adam, the first Adam, was ruddy. Adam was ruddy. The last Adam was ruddy. David was ruddy. Esau was ruddy. The red heifer. Oh God, don't get me started on the red heifer. The red heifer. The Antichrist comes. Jesus is the red heifer, sillies. Okay. All right. Trump is not the Antichrist, for God's sakes. And the red heifer, Jesus is the red heifer. If you go study the red heifer, you'll see the red heifer, like it does amazing things. Ashes. It does all these awesome things. They take the ash and they listen. The red heifer was representing Jesus. Okay. So all this, these people that don't understand this, no, the red heifer, he is the ruddy heifer, bro, the ruddy sacrifice. What are you talking about? Man, bro, lost these people, bro. Jeez, lost in the sauce. But you got the ruddy, right? So when he sees his son, the son is ruddy. He smells the son, there's an aroma. The son doesn't just have the aroma of, a type of venison or a type of meat, but he has the aroma, the smell of frankincense and myrrh. Jesus has a smell, right? In the Song of Solomon, it says, I woke for my beloved and I went to the door and opened, but my beloved was not there. But the aroma that was left on the doorknob was frankincense and myrrh, okay? He has a smell. The beloved, who is Christ, has a smell. He has a smell. He has a taste. There's a sight, which is the ruddiness, and there's a feel, which is the hairiness. The hair, this hair, this covering that he is, points to faith. That's why Samson let his hair grow, faith. That's why Esau came out red and hairy, because he's representing the firstborn. But he's not the actual firstborn, but that's what he was representing, like Adam, the first Adam. But God has five senses. And so I'm saying that because when it says that God planted the trees in the garden, all the trees in the garden that were pleasant to the sight, it's pleasant to his sight. Do you understand? They're all pleasant to his sight. All of them. But when sin was found in Lucifer, he was no longer pleasant. No longer pleasant. But people still want to argue and say that this tree was pleasant. It was pleasant. Why? Because they read, listen and be very careful. If you're not paying attention to what I'm saying right now, pay attention. If you haven't heard me say this, this is the time. Listen to what I'm telling you. In chapter 3, Genesis 3, verse 6, it says, and when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, these are these nincompoops that come up to me and like, right here, bro. It says that the tree was good for food. It says right here. And I'm like, oh my God, bro. Like, how do I get it across this person's head? It says good food. It says, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and the tree desired to make one wise. She took the fruit thereof and she did eat. And I'm like, doesn't the Bible say that she was deceived? Bro, that don't matter. That don't matter? Bro, what? It said, look what it says. And when the woman saw, This is a perspective of what she saw. She saw that that the woman saw the tree was good for food and pleasant to the eyes. Bro, was she not deceived to believe that the tree was good for food and pleasant to the eyes? So if this is her being described in her deceptive moment, how are you, a Christian, how can you not discern that at this point, my friend, before she takes a bite, she was deceived? I don't understand this. That tree was not pleasant to the sight. It was not good for food. That tree was not good for food. That tree, my friend, was Lucifer. That's what it is. Jesus is the tree of life, and the tree of knowledge, good and evil, is Lucifer. It's just nothing has changed today. Today, you can believe Jesus or you can believe Satan. It has not changed. And they're both in the midst of the garden. They're both in the midst of you. Both of these trees are in the midst. Paul says there's another one in my members. They're both in the midst of you. If you're born again, you have the Spirit of God that's living on the inside of you, and you have your flesh. And they're enmity to one another, just like these two trees were enmity. The Bible shouldn't have to tell you, in the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil were enmity to one another. Why would the Bible have to tell you that if God said if you eat of this one, you'll die? So one of them is the tree of death, and the other one is the tree of life. Isn't death and life enmity to one another? Somebody has to tell you that? Jeez, Christ, you're added to Scripture. No, you're taken away from Scripture. That's the problem. The Bible says don't add or take away. You're taking away from Scripture. You're taking away. 100% you're taking away. Verse 6, Genesis 3:6, and when the woman saw that the tree, when she saw, sight, and when the woman saw that the tree was good for food and that it was pleasant to the eyes, my friend, at this point, she was deceived. The tree is not a pleasant tree. It's not good for food, bro. How do you know it's not good for food? Hint, hint. God said, don't eat it or you'll die. I don't know how you can be so stupid and still breathe. Like, how do you still know how to breathe and don't understand this? It's freaking simple. If God said don't eat it, if you're so focused on God's command, then that's what's blinding you. You're blinded by commands, which means there's a veil still over your eyes. You're blinded by commandments. You're blinded by that. That's not what he's doing. He's not commanding, I command you. It's not like that. It's a warning. Just like he warned Cain, Cain, why has your countenance fallen? Sin lieth at the door. He's warning him. It's about to go down with you, Cain. But everybody sees God as freaking Zeus, like the darn Greeks. We're not Greeks, guys. We're not pagans anymore, okay? We're not pagans anymore. We worship the one true God, and he tells us the truth. When he told Adam, if you eat of that tree, you will die, he is telling us the truth. It's a tree of death. Where are you getting in your head? No, the tree's pleasant. It says right here that he planted all the trees that were pleasant. Right. He put all the trees that were pleasant. That tree was pleasant when he put it there. And if you don't understand angels of trees and weird trees, if you don't get this kind of talk, if you don't understand this kind of talk, then my friend, there's some doctrine that's going to be flipped out of the way down the road somewhere. It's going to be some flipped up doctrine. And it's because of this right here. It's all right here. So the sight is very important in the Bible. The sight of God is very important. He planted all the trees that were pleasant to the sight. Let's see. Jace, what's up, Jace? Jace.
Oh.
What's going on,
Hello.
man? What's going on, man? What's on your mind?
I didn't know I requested to be up. My bad.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you can mute. No big deal.
Yeah, my bad.
You're good, man.
It was good to see you guys again.
Okay, you too. Guys, y'all know Jace? I think I remember that name.
Mick's son.
Mick's son? Okay.
Hey, Trout, I know we're going over the site, but for Michael, you might want to check out verse 7 and 21 for the adequate covering for him to continue. Because I've seen over the last 2 or 3 days, like not you, but you know what I mean, God opening his eyes and showing him new things. But this is outside of the site, but it's also part of the covering in verse 7, talking about like then they knew they were naked and so forth. I didn't know if you're going over that today or
Well,
not, but
remember
I always enjoyed that.
Yeah. So his question is, what did Adam and Eve eat? So that is what I'm focused on, what they ate. All right. So you're wanting me to describe the entire, you want to go over the whole freaking garden.
I love it all, man.
Yeah, well,
I love it all, bro.
it's all good, but I'm just kind of focused on what they ate, right? I'm making a playlist out of this, and I'm titling it, What Did They Eat? And the reason why I'm talking about the site today is because the site is what caused them to eat it. The site. That's what caused them to eat it, right? So if somebody take me to the Bible where Elisha's servant is afraid and Elisha prays and it says, God, open his eyes, right? Somebody take me there. We're going to go through a few sites, really just going to be focusing on the site today. Who's got it? Anybody? Let me see. I got to do it.
What did you say?
I'm looking it up.
Yeah, where Elisha prayed that the lad's eyes would open, and he saw that there were more of them than there were the enemy. Second Kings.
That's 2 Kings 6:17.
All right, can you go there and read that?
Yeah, I'm looking for it. Give me a second.
Yeah.
Can you repeat the question? Just that word, Michael. See Michael's question.
What do you mean, from the very beginning?
Yeah, just overall question that he asked.
His question was, what did Adam and Eve eat in the Garden of Eden?
All right, thank you.
Yeah. All right, who's got it? Read it.
All right, 2 Kings 6:17. One of my pages are stuck. It said, and he answered, so we'll go up to 15. Well, they all say it. Said, and he answered, fear not, for, let me make sure, 6:17, yep. 17, sorry. And Elijah prayed and said, Lord, I pray thee.
Hey, read the verse before that. I'm sorry. Read the verse before
Okay,
that.
roger that. And he answered, fear not, for they that be with us are more than they.
All right, read what is making us believe the person is in fear. Like, find that, maybe go 2 more verses up and just start there.
We'll start at 13. It says, and he said, go and spy where he is, that I may send and fetch him. And it was told him, saying, behold, he is Dothan. Therefore sent he thither horses and chariots and great host, and they came by night and compassed the city about. And when the servant of the man of God was risen early and gone forth, behold, a host compassed the city, both with horses and chariots, and his servant said unto him, alas, my master, how shall we go? And he answered, fear not, for they.
All right, so right there. So basically the lad saw that they were surrounded by enemy, and basically he's like, hey, bro, how are we going to leave now? Like, this is not good. And this is where he's told, fear not. Okay, go ahead from there, from fear not.
Okay, and 16. And he answered, fear not, for they that be with us are more than they be with them. And Elijah prayed and said, Lord, I pray thee, open his eyes, that he may see. And the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elijah.
Okay, so this Mike, you there?
Yep.
All right, so this story, here we are once again, is only explained to us that it's kind of like his eyes were only open to see, like at that moment, there's more of them, so he didn't have to worry. That's how this is how this is ministered.
Mm-hmm.
You don't hear a whole lot of people go any further with this because there's nothing else to see. It was a miracle that happened. But the truth is, this is always true. Always. It's always been true before. It was true then. It's still true now.
Mm-hmm.
So God is not showing something that was just a miracle in that moment. This has always been true. Which means which means we are the problem. We can't see it.
Yep.
Okay? So if we can't see it, it doesn't mean it's not there. And I'm talking about God. And I'm not talking about God in particular. Is God real? Well, if you can't see it, doesn't mean. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying we're already saved. We're already saved. But God has a certain sight. And he's trying to bring that sight back to us. It was taken away from us in the garden. When Adam and Eve's eyes were open, it was open to carnality.
I see.
Our spiritual
Good and
eyes
evil,
were taken
right?
away. No, I don't want to call it good and evil. I don't want to call it. I don't want to call it good and evil. Now, what we can say is, good and evil played a part, right? In the sense of now we know what is good, what is evil. So instead of us just focusing on Christ, it's hard because we have to look at what's good and what's evil. But that's not how God looked at Adam. God never looked at Adam, good or evil. God never looked at Adam like that. And if God wanted Adam and Eve to have this, quote unquote, this knowledge of good and evil, he would have made them with it.
Yeah.
He would have made them with it. Okay. But he didn't make them with it because the only thing they needed to focus on was him. Yeah. That's the same today. So if it's the same today, that the only thing that we have to focus on is him, why is everybody always bringing up the law? And if you still sin, do you still sin? Hey, do you still sin? Good and evil. They're still stuck. They're still stuck in this.
Yeah.
They're still stuck in it. But that's not how it was in the beginning, bro. So God is trying to bring our sight back. So when we go to the story of Samson, which I do quite often because it's a shadow of Christ, when he gets the lad to put his hands on the pillars, Samson says, he prays and he says, Lord, give me vengeance for my 2 eyes that were taken from me. This is also Christ having vengeance for Adam and Eve's eyes being taken.
Okay.
Not just his physical eyes. So Samson had his eyes plucked out. But how come nobody recognizes that when he says, let me have vengeance for my 2 eyes that was taken from me, and then he says, let me die. Let me ask you this. Okay, so what we see is he pushes the pillars down and he unalives himself just to unalive the rest of those people. Now, in the sense of Samson, why would Samson have to do it like that? If Samson could pick up a jawbone of an ass and just go slaughter a bunch of people, how come he just couldn't pick up one of those pillars and just start knocking everybody out with it?
Yeah.
Why did he say, let me die with the Philistines? Why did he have to die with them? He didn't have to. It makes no sense with Samson. None. But it makes sense with Jesus. He had to die. So when he said, let me die with the Philistines, the thing that is never taught, and when I say never, I mean 99.9% of the time, it's never taught that Samson didn't just say, let me die with the Philistines. When you go study in Hebrew, Samson says, let my soul die with the Philistines. That changes everything because the Bible tells us that God was going to offer his soul for us.
Okay.
Somebody go find the verse where it says, it should be in Isaiah 10, maybe? Isaiah.
I see what you're saying.
Well, you see what the Bible is saying. I ain't saying it.
Yeah.
Right? And Jesus is the author. None of these things are coincidence. He's the one that wrote all of it like this, him.
Yep.
Okay?
Which one you looking for, Trump?
I think it's Isaiah 10. Let's see. Yeah, help me find it where it says that he's going to offer his soul. It might be in. For some reason, I got.
So, like, basically, I mean, clearly, there is more meaning than just him physically going away. Like, wow, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, I know, man. It's all good. We're going through it, though. We got about at least 15, 20 more minutes, and we might have to. I mean, I'll try to stay on as long as I can, but
Yeah.
let's see.
Y'all having like a little get together?
Oh, yeah. Man, why is this not? That's weird. Oh, my bad. It's 53:10. I'm like, I know it's 10. I'm like, I know it's 10.
Yeah,
no, it's not 10. It's 53:10. Okay, I'm sorry. It's been that long. Wow. Sounds like we need to go over this more. Been that long?
I was power scrolling.
Yeah, that's my fault, man. I had one of the numbers right.
Sorry.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, bro. All right, so 53:10, it says,
you got it.
it says, yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. He hath put him to grief when thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin. Okay? This is talking about Jesus, but if you don't know that Jesus is God, then you don't know that that's God's soul. You want to wear the shirt? I can. Just put it right there. Hold on, guys. Mommy's dressing me right now.
Take the tags off. Take the tags off.
No, leave the tags on because he could return it.
That's only if it's too small. Extra medium.
Well, she buys them at the kids section.
It's called Husky.
That's when I was growing
Husky,
up. It was
bro.
called Husky.
You're husky, bro.
Alive. Christian, when I was little, that's where you used to buy for the heavy kids.
It's funny, y'all start talking as soon as he's off
Yeah.
the mic.
Hey, anything that's said right here stays with us.
Oh, I'm telling him.
No, I know.
You're getting
Get him off the panel.
excommunicated then.
Get him off the panel.
Excommunicado.
That does look like a medium Husky.
That looks like a husky Yoda.
Very Husky.
Absolutely. She got that in the kids section. She bought that in the Husky kids section.
The what?
What was the size range? 9 through 12?
What are you talking about?
She buys your shirt at the Husky kids section.
Nah, bro. Nah, she tried to get me to wear one of those ugly Christmas sweaters, and I said, all right. I said, I ain't wearing that. I said, trust me, this shirt, what I'm wearing is gonna be Christmassy. There you go.
So funny.
It's Christmassy. Look, it's Christmassy.
Michael was going to tell on us.
That video you put out was hysterical. Her in the background screaming.
Oh yeah.
I was laughing.
I'm like, man, this girl. I said, I tell you what. I said, that's you right there all day. It don't matter if stub your toe. Dogs ran too far. I'm like, Lord, I hear a chickmunk yelling in the house all day long. All right.
Michael, like she made you make that video, bro. You're like,
hold on.
God.
And Michael, the reason why we wait until he gets off, because he's quiet, because we get tired of hearing him saying, hold on, just wait a second, hold on, let me finish, hold on.
All right, no, seriously though, let's hurry up. I gotta hurry up. All right. Okay, so Isaiah 53:10, it talks about God's soul being offered right here. You know, Mike, when I first came on TikTok, because I've been saying this for 15 years, but when I first came on here, it didn't take me long to figure out. I'm like, man, why does everybody say, I'm just listening to everybody's conversation. Not one time do I hear anyone talk about God's soul, ever. It's all over the Bible. It's all over, but they claim they read the Bible. They're so familiar with scripture. So I started asking people, I was like, hey, let me ask you, does God have a soul? Bro, we're talking about people that there's people on here, they probably look up to these people, bro. Okay. And I did a whole handful of these people all at one time. And I got my receipts. So if they ever get too crazy, I'm gonna pull them out. But I asked a whole bunch of them all at one time, hey, does God have a soul? All of them on the same live. Well, I'm like, the most important thing in the entire Bible, the most important thing is when God tells us what he's offering. Everybody is just, they're just parroting. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Like, bro, obviously Jesus is the answer, but how do you not know these details? That God's soul was in there. How do you not know that? They know it now.
Jesse?
They know it now. Oh, I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about people that, boy, they sound so good when they talk. But when I asked them, listen, they all know it now. You understand what I'm saying? They talk about it now. Boy, they're all over it now. But when I brought this up right here, they're like, well, oh no. I'm like, bruh. And you're telling everybody you're the teacher. You're the teacher, bro. And you don't know God offered his own soul, bro. Oh, bro, come on.
Somebody does lives on it. And somebody does lives on it now.
Oh, a bunch of them do. A bunch of them do, bro. Okay, now again, now, but don't misunderstand. I'm not ridiculing. That's not the point I'm making. Again, what are we talking about? What is our entirety of our conversation today? What are we talking about today?
About the lie.
The what?
What the fruit is.
No, I'm saying, we're still talking about that, but today is focused on sight. On sight. Right?
On the eyes.
The sight, God's sight, our sight, God's sight. That's the focus.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
okay, so because we're focusing on sight, and the point I'm making is how our flesh is blinded to these truths. They're blinded. Right? It's not about the individuals that I'm poking fun at them, but we're going to heaven. I'm not asking, like, I'm not talking to their soul and saying, I'm not saying your soul, you're stupid. I'm talking about the flesh, bro. The flesh. Yep. Okay. So why is it these people, they're like, oh yeah, Bible, but they know all the Bible in, out. And then you ask them this question right here and they're like, well, I don't know. God have a soul? I don't know. What? You talk about what? How do you not know this? The reason I'm saying it like that, how do you not know this? Because the flesh is really good, bro, at just making sure that you just repeat what you hear. Just repeat what you hear rather than you actually seeing and understanding something as a truth. Why? So everybody else can see and understand. Right? So God's own soul was offered for us on the cross. Sin went into the flesh and it was unalived, but God's soul was offered. His own soul was put on the cross. This happened because of the nasty thing that occurred in the garden. It was so disgusting that God had to put his own soul on the cross, bro. I don't care who you are. If you fathom that just for a little bit, that's almost like psychopathic thinking. It's so crazy. He had to put his own soul up there to make this right. He had to put his own soul up there, bro. What are we talking about? That's craziness. That's crazy. Listen, it can become a cliche very quickly. Like, okay, we heard your story, man. Jesus went on the cross. No, bro. No. His own soul was up there. So why do I keep pointing this out? Because in order for us to get our sight back, something had to pay the penalty. For us to get our sight back, bro. The one that was taken away from us in the garden. There was a sight that was taken away. And we see little glimpses of it. We talked about it in 2 Kings. that guy couldn't see. And he prayed, his eyes were open. And now he can see that there's more of us than there are the enemy. We talked about Samson. Samson says, give me vengeance for my 2 eyes. If not careful, it really looks like that all that's happening is there's a man named Samson who believes in God. His eyes were plucked out, and God made him strong one last time. So, because how dare them take his eyes? No, bro. No, bro. Wrong answer. In reality, is that what happened with Samson? Yes. But in this truth, in this story of Samson, it was a shadow of something to come, who is Christ. Samson's name means sunlight. That's what his name means in English. The Bible tells us that Jesus is the light of the world. And it was him. The Bible says that when the Messiah dies, that he would die amongst Gentiles. That's what it tells us. So when Samson said, let me die with the Philistines, he literally said, let me die with the Gentiles. And he died there with them, just like Jesus did.
Wow.
His soul was offered just like Jesus' soul was offered. And they both have a type of vengeance. Samson wants vengeance for his physical 2 eyes. Jesus wants vengeance for the 2 spiritual eyes that were taken from him, Adam and Eve. Okay, so now we come out here. He's in this world, and now Jesus is he's walking around. And when you pay attention to him, you can tell. So before I get there, the Bible says that the Messiah is going to do 4 main things, really. That he was going to open the blind eyes, he was going to open the deaf ears, open the dumb mouth, and the lame will walk. So when Jesus comes, he physically opens blind eyes, he physically opens deaf ears, he physically makes the dumb speak, and the people that are lame, he get up and walk. Again, he's bringing a lot. Again, these are shadows. Jesus is here in the Old Testament. This is still Old Testament. This Old Testament when he's here. This is not New Testament yet. And he's here walking around, and he does exactly what the Bible said the Messiah is going to do. He's opening. Amazing. What's going on, man?
You got somebody in the elevator.
Oh, I do. Mike, what'd you say? Why did I get banned off your platform? I don't know. What were you doing in here? Mike, you trying to come up? Come up here, Mike. What's up? What happened? Were you acting crazy in the comments or what? Mike. Hello, Mike. Okay. I don't know. You're not coming up. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Mike, listen, 99% of the time, if someone got banned or muted, you were either spamming the live with a bunch of crazy comments or you just acting crazy. One or the other. Nobody gets banned for no reason around here. So, amazing. What's up, man? What's on your mind, bro?
Because I just wanted to join the family and everything, you understand?
Huh?
What was going on?
Oh, shoot, man. We talked.
Want to come by and see what was going on at the house?
Yeah, I'm glad you stopped by. Yeah, we had a question from Mike, CM Mike right there. He asked a few days ago, what did Adam and Eve eat in the garden? So that's what I've been going over.
Yeah, I've been here for that.
Yeah. So, you been here listening for the past couple days?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So Samson says, let me have vengeance for my 2 eyes were taken from me. Jesus is saying the same thing. Let me have vengeance for the 2 eyes that were taken from me. They were taken from him. Jesus is God. Those 2 eyes were taken from him. So the sight of man has to be given back. Jesus, when he came, he did exactly what it says the Messiah would do. And what's the purpose of this? You have Christians today that believe that the only purpose of Jesus opening blind eyes and deaf ears is so we can see miracles and it's him. No, bro. No. When our eyes are given back to us like they were from the beginning, that's how we'll know that it's him, because we'll see. Our perspective will be different. We'll see now. You understand? It's not just the physical miracle. The physical miracle is not proving to anybody that he's God. The physical miracle is not what's proving that Jesus God or the Messiah. That's not what's proven it. It's because when he opens the blind eyes, we can see who he is now. I'm not talking about these physical eyes, meaning when we are given our sight back as Adam and Eve, pleasant sight. Once our pleasant sight is given back to us, now we can see God. Just like the young man saw that there were more of them than there were the enemy. Just like Adam and Eve had pleasant sight before they believed the lie. Do you understand? When those eyes are open, you are not going to renounce God. You're not going to renounce him because you can actually see him, but just not with these eyes. So when the Bible says that the Messiah will open the blind eyes and deaf ears, that's why Jesus says, for those who have ears to hear, let them hear. These are the ears that he's opening up, not the paddles on the side of your head. The paddles on the side of your head is not what he's talking about when he says, for those that have ears to hear, let them hear. No, it says that the Messiah would open the deaf ears, meaning people are reading the Bible, but they don't understand it. But when your ears are open, you understand what you're hearing. That's why the disciples said, why do you speak to them in parables? And Jesus said, is it parables to you? They said, no. He said, okay. It's because you understand, you can hear, you can see. And a person that can hear and see, they can speak. The dumb speak. He's not just talking about someone who's, they can't physically speak. Even though physically that's what he was healing, because what he was doing was a shadow of what we were going to be doing. This is the greater thing, and greater works, greater things shall you do, because I go to the Father. It doesn't mean that we're going to do more miracles in numbers. It doesn't mean that we're going to go find all the physically blind people and open their eyes so God could be glorified in this fallen world that way only. Absolutely not. Is physical eyes being open a great thing? Of course it is. The person can now see then. They would be grateful the rest of their life. Okay? But that is not the focus. God's focus is not to find people who are just physically blind so their eyes can be open and physically see all the crime that happens in this world. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. They'll be grateful in the sense that they can now see and, they have all their more senses of their body working. But when your unpleasant eyesight is reversed to now seeing things God's way, my friend, that's the miracle, is for our eyesight to be back to where it was in the beginning. On and on you hear Jesus say these things. They'll say, well, Moses said we can have a divorce. And he said, yeah, because of the hardness of your heart. So now he takes it back to the heart. We're told that he's going to give us a new heart. Why do we have to be given a new heart? The same reason you have to be given new eyes and new ears and a new mouth and a new feet, right? How beautiful are their feet that do what? Anyone? How beautiful.
Bring the peace of the gospel.
Right, that bring the gospel. So pick up your bed and walk. It's not just so the person can now walk around and be late to work. What was the point? He probably should have made you walk faster. That's not the point. It's so you can walk and minister the gospel. Get it? Spiritual. You can minister the gospel. Your eyes can see the pleasantness of God. So now you can talk about the pleasantness. With these physical eyes, you cannot see the pleasantness of God. You know what you can see? The law, just like the scribes and the Pharisees. The scribes and the Pharisees, all they can see, they can't see any further than the tip of their nose. They can't see any further. Anyone that is dealing with legalism, all they can see is good and bad, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. They're stuck on good and evil. Good. You're still eating from the wrong tree. Well, they can make it sound good too. Sin is bad. Sin is bad. I heard some crazy person the other day. When I say crazy, this person done lost their mind. They said, sin is important. I even sent amazing. What the heck is going on? Sin is important. You done lost your mind. You done lost it. You done become jaded. Listen, jaded is when someone, they read so much information that is not pointing to any truth at all. And they just, all over the place. I can believe what I heard. And I told Amazing, man, I hate passing by some of these lies. I can't stop. I got to go. I got to go. Sin is important. No, my friend, you're singing the wrong tune. Jesus is important, not sin. Jesus is important. They're still stuck on the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Absolutely not. That is the biggest lie I ever heard in my life. Sin has no power, period, the end. None. It's been defeated. That serpent has been eaten by the brazen serpent. It's done. It's a done deal. Where is it? How is sin? If you're standing in front of Pharaoh and you're seeing this go down, right? Everybody thinks the greatest show is when that stupid boy, what's his name, Jake Paul, is fighting someone who's an idiot. But Jake Paul's fighting somebody. I don't know how y'all still ain't picked up. It's just a money scheme. These ain't real fights, okay? None of them. Not even the one where he got knocked down. He just paid that day. I don't care what anybody says. All that was fake too. It's all fake, okay? All right, I'd rather watch the Dallas Cowboys get their butt whooped than watch these stupid fake fights that they have now, okay? I don't believe UFC.
Well, you're going to be watching that at 1 p.m. today.
Well, I don't. Their year's been done. I don't know why you even bringing them up. They're done. They're done. We'll talk about them next year. Just save all that energy for next year when they win the Super Bowl. All right, so, but to get to the point in life that you're so fixated on sin, you have lost. You do not have eyes that can see. You do not have ears that can hear. These people still are lost in the sauce. Their eyes have not been opened, man. They haven't. They haven't. They still see sin as this powerful thing, which means they uphold the first Adam over the last Adam. You know how you know? They talk more about the first Adam. When you are hanging around someone, they talk more about the first Adam, and they justify it by saying, no, because you think sin is good. They're missing it. That's not the gospel. What they think they're trying to do, which is take you away from sin, they think they have to talk about it. Nothing could be further from the truth. Talking about sin strengthens sin. Talking about the law strengthens the law. They don't understand this concept. They think that if they can warn you more, they'll save you. No, that's the knowledge of good and evil. You're eating from the wrong tree still. Someone that has eyes that can see understand why a person always talks about sin and the law, because they think by talking about it, they can save you from it. No, you want someone to stop sinning and stop like trying to beat each other up with the law. You just talk about Jesus. That's what you talk about. You don't focus on that. They still have it backwards. They still think like a scribe and a Pharisee. A scribe and a Pharisee, that's all they did was talk about sin, and you need to stop this, you need to stop that. That's all they talked about. And they've been led astray to believe this. Are they saved? They could be. I don't know the people personally, but they could be saved. But again, oh, foolish Galatian. They become foolish Galatians again. When you get to the point that you say this crazy stuff, sin is important. Listen, again, if you're standing before Pharaoh, and the reason why I went on the spiel about fights today, trust me, you would pay all you had to see the fight between Moses and Pharaoh's Magi. I'd have freaking front row seats. You hear me? Front row seats. I'm saying those seats would be so front that Pharaoh's like, you know what? You're too close. When this is done, we're going to behead you. You're going to have to behead me. I'm going to be right. I'm watching this right here. Y'all ain't got TVs. I don't get to sit in the nosebleed and get to watch it on a big screen. No, I'm going to be right. You can unalive me later. I'm going to watch this right here because I already know what's about to go down. But in this showdown between Moses, who God is standing behind him because Moses is a servant of God, and then you have the Magi who's standing behind him, Pharaoh. This 100% is Jesus versus Satan. This is the tree of life versus what? The tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Right here. Showdown. It's about to go down. So here come the Magi. They got two serpents, two rods. And here goes Moses. He has one rod. Where'd he get that rod from? Some people say, well, he already had it. No. When God turned it into a serpent and Moses picked it up, it was the rod of God, my friend. It was the rod of God. If you don't understand that Jesus is the rod of God, if you don't understand that, this whole thing makes no sense to you. You're still going to be asking questions. Well, why the snake represented? How come the snake ate the other snake? And you don't know nothing. You don't know nothing. But all the two Magi and Moses, they throw their rods down. Now there's 3 snakes on the ground. And one snake eats the other 2 snakes. So now watch this. When Moses picks his snake back up, there's only one rod left. Rods in the Old Testament mean authority. As soon as them rods were eaten up and put in the body of one, there's no more authority, my friend. Do you understand? Understand what I'm telling you. And you still think there's authority because Pharaoh's there. No. You're missing it. You're missing it. My friend, the only authority in this world in the Old Testament are rods. Rods. Listen to what I'm telling you. How many rods? Let me ask Mike. Mike, how many rods were left when Moses' serpent ate the other two serpents and he picked that serpent up and it became a rod? Where's the Magi's rods? Mike? Michael, you still there? Michael no fell asleep on us. He probably got busy. That's all right.
No, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm just getting dressed.
No, you're good. You're good. No, go ahead, Mike. I'll stop asking you questions. I'll just go through there. But the point is, there's only one rod left. If you miss this it seems so insignificant, right? And I say this all the time. The thing that you think is insignificant will be the most significant part of the entire story. And one of those is how many rods is left. There's only one. That means Satan has no more authority at this point because he has no more Magi's. They're done. They're done. You need to understand this. And you're like, oh, that don't matter. Those are just magic tricks. Pharaoh is still the one in charge. No. Absolutely. He's the influence. You're still not listening to the story. He's the influence guy. God is not in charge of anything that's happening there. He's the influence. You still missed that. All this time, you still missed it. God is the influence to what's happening. His servant is being influenced by him. The Magi are being influenced by Pharaoh. They're being influenced. They're both influencing. Doesn't that sound familiar? Tree of life, tree of knowledge, good and evil, influence. Nothing's changed. But the reason that God gives us visuals is so we can see something that you just can't tell somebody. You have to see it. That's how stupid we are. What?
So, that verse in the New Testament where it says, just as Moses, what was that verse? It said something about that, and it was like, so will be, it's like basically kind of implying that like Jesus will be that serpent on the cross. You know that verse I'm talking about?
There's a lot of them. Does somebody know specifically which one he's talking about?
Just as Moses raised the brazen serpent in the wilderness?
Yeah.
Yep, so. That's it.
Yeah, bring up the verse, though. Bring it up real quick. We'll go to it.
Oh. Well, give me a second.
Oh, my neck and my back.
Yeah, me and my wife, we watched Prince of Egypt. You ever seen that movie?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yep.
I can't lie, man. Not until now, I really didn't know what that meant when Moses's rod turned into a snake and ate their snakes. Honestly, I didn't really know what that meant.
Yeah, but that's
John 3:14.
All right, before we read John 3:14, see, the thing is, though, people think that I'm attacking the black letters on the white page. No. They have to be shown to us this way. Mm-hmm. You cannot take away this story the way God lays it out. You can't take it away because that is how he knew that we would understand. Okay? So go ahead and read it, Christian.
I was just giving the verse. I can't read it.
Okay,
Michael,
who can read it? Who can read it? John 3:14, I think that's what he said.
I can read it.
Go ahead real quick.
1 second. Let me see. John 3:14. Okay. All right. Yep, here it is. And as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up, so that whoever believes will in him have eternal life.
Okay, so in the wilderness, okay, because I'm not there yet, right? I'm still with Pharaoh, okay, but I'll get to that one just in a second. But what we see though is we see one rod left. There's only one authority left, one, and it's in Moses' hand. And so because the other authorities were taken away, so watch this. Those two serpents that Jesus ate 100% represent sin, because sin had authority in this world. You understand? It represented Satan. It's representing Satan and his dominion, which he uses sin to be our adversary.
Yep.
Okay. When that one serpent that Moses had ate those two serpents, and then he picked it back up, and he only had a rod, where was sin in the picture then?
There wasn't.
There wasn't. So sin is what had dominion over the people. Sin did. Do you understand?
Yep.
And in the depiction that we see, if you don't understand what that serpent represents, you'll be a fool today and tell people sin is important. Show me here. Show me here, whoever you are to claim that have wisdom, when the two serpents were eaten by this one serpent. If you still don't understand, that serpent represents Christ, the one that Moses held. If you still don't understand, because you're scared, because you think there's only one serpent, there's two, my friend. Okay, there's two. There's one that is sin, and there's one that became sin, who knew no sin. He became the serpent for us. Okay, so show me. After this showdown, I need someone to show me the importance of sin now. Where? It's because they don't see these things that they stay in the New Testament and misunderstand what they're reading. So they'll go to tell people, sin, sin, sin. Where? Where in this showdown? Was it not God that wrote this way? Was it not God that wrote this for us to understand what the serpent is, and to show that the rod that Moses' hand turned into a serpent and took on the sin? That rod was Jesus taking sin upon him.
Yep.
So once the sin was taken out of this world and put into that one rod, who just so happens to be the authority of God, show me now. Show me now. Where's sin now? They don't see. They do not understand this. This is huge. No. It's huge.
No. Yep.
That means that their eyes, hold on, that means these people that say sin is important, their eyes still hadn't been open. Their eyes have still, if their eyes were open, for God's sakes, they would see this and stop ministering sin and death. They would stop being people's adversary. They would stop it, and they would minister the gospel. These people hadn't ministered the gospel once yet. They haven't. They have,
can I tell you something?
Before you do, they have parroted, and they only have repeated what the New Testament says.
Yep.
That's all they've done. But from their heart, they have not one time ministered the gospel. If they had, my friend, they would fully understand this depiction that God shows us. Go ahead, Mike.
So I had a conversation with someone last night, and she was on a live, and she was talking about how, Jesus has given us a clean slate, but it's up to us to keep that slate clean. And I said, so wait. I said, so you really don't believe that Jesus paid for all of our sins? You just believe that he paid for some of them. And then she sends me this thing about sanctification and everything else. And I said, I'm just like, but I think that's what scares a lot of people away, is they think that they have to live this perfect life.
Yeah, but again, my friend, I trust me, I done heard this a million times. You don't even got to go any further. Okay. So what I'm saying is, I can have a discussion with this, like with you, that would, that would open your eyes even more. So listen, again, mankind we have it in us that we have to earn stuff, bro. It's a very natural thing. And so for anyone to say that God is free, okay, that's too good. It's too good to be true news. Yep. Matter of fact, when Paul talks about the gospel, the word that he just The word that he just so happened to use, it doesn't mean good news. If you go look at the word that Paul uses in the Greek for good news, he chose a word that literally means too good to be true news. That's what it means.
Wow.
It doesn't just mean good news. It's too good to be true. And when you tell someone that that is trying to tell you that sin is important, and listen, I'll make the statement real clean. Sin is not what sends people to hell. These people will tell you, yes, it does. I'm just trying to show you how far apart we are. They'll tell you that sin will send you to hell. And they'll go to the verses that talk about it, but they're missing the entirety of the Bible. They go to a few verses that's talking about how sin is bad. Okay, first of all, I've never met a Christian that says sin is good. Never. I've never met one. So no Christian will say sin is good. None of them will say that. We all know sin is bad, okay? But they have been led to believe that there are people who are claiming to be Christian and they're just out there running away, like doing all this sin. And they're always talking to me that they're talking about unbelievers. I'm like, why do you take the characteristic of someone who doesn't believe in God and then tell a Christian that's you? Bro, I said, Satan is using you to destroy people's minds and you don't even know it. That's craziness. I said, but I can go on and on, but I understand what you're saying. But sin is not what sends people to hell. It's unbelief.
I was just about to ask you, do you think that means unbelief that is what brings them to hell?
Yes. What is blasphemy against the Holy Spirit? What is that?
Unbelief.
That's what it is. It says there's a sin that leads to hell, and there's other sins that don't lead to hell. What's the sin that leads to hell? So if there are sins that don't lead you to hell, and there's one that does, it doesn't say murder is the sin. It doesn't name one of the 10 commandments.
Mm-hmm.
It says unbelief, bro.
Can I ask you something real quick?
Yeah, what?
So, and last night she says, because I asked her, I said, well, what about 1 John 3:9 and 1 John 5:18? And she literally sends me a translation from the NLT, and it says, well, that person doesn't practice sin. And then I can't explain it, but the NLT, it twisted up what I sent her to the point to where she disregarded it. And I was just like, okay, you got that.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know why you brought any of that up to her. Listen, again, mankind are at a fallen state because we lost our eyesight.
Mm-hmm.
And we're trying to get it back. Okay. And the more that we see God in his word, the more he's becoming pleasant, not what used to be pleasant. Okay. So descaled was made for such a thing. Paul the Apostle, he knew the Old Testament just as good as anyone else. Everyone thinks that if you go learn Hebrew, if I go learn, I'm going to get me some training on speaking Hebrew. He knew Hebrew. He knew he didn't have to go learn. After he got saved, he's like, oh, I must go learn some Hebrew. He already knew it. So if it was just a Hebrew that saves or makes you see better, how come he couldn't see better? He understood Hebrew. It was because he couldn't see. His eyes weren't open. His eyes were not open, bro. But when he met Jesus, it says like scales fell from his eyes. Now he could see. And now when you go hear him talk about God in the Bible, he clearly could see, clearly, very clear. Okay. Now he did tell us that we see through a glass darkly, like we can see through it, but we just 100% cannot make out everything. But you know what we can see though? A lot. That's what we can see. And Paul did a beautiful job in all of his inspiring letters. You know, he wrote 75% of the New Testament. If Paul's letters were not in the New Testament, it'd be very small. So he wrote 75% basically.
And most of them while he was in prison.
Yeah, well, I mean, that doesn't really matter. But,
well, in prison for the cause of Christ.
Well, yeah, but he would have wrote them even if he wasn't. Whether he was in prison or not, he would have wrote these things. Nothing would have stopped them from being written down. But the point.
Against the brothers that done served time before, brother?
Huh?
You got something against the brethren that done served time before, or something? That's something for me to brag about, brother.
Hold on? Do I got anything against?
Amazing. Don't you got a truck? Don't you got a truck stop? Don't you got a? Don't you got a truck stop?
Oh, you said do I?
You
said do I have? Hold on. You said hold on. You said do I have anything against someone that serves? Oh, I see what you're saying. No. I don't got no. I'm just saying that's because
give me something to boast about,
for real.
Give me something to boast about. I'm just saying nothing would have stopped Paul from writing these letters, is what I'm saying. So it doesn't matter where he would have been. He could have been hanging by his toes in a tree and he would have wrote it upside down. Nothing would have stopped him from doing that. But let me see. I don't know what that is. But because we're focused on sight, right, is why I kind of went this route, because it's very important that our sight. So we meet people, just like Michael was talking about, you're going to meet people that's always talking about sin, and all these other things. When you can see, you're no longer looking at the action of the man, you're looking at the heart. That's what you're looking at. God does not look, matter of fact, no, never mind. Because it's gonna digress. So just focused on what we're talking about right now, which is sight and all that. Just remember that sin was no longer a factor. The two serpents, the two rods that Moses' serpent and rod took away, that is Christ taking all sin upon him, which we know he did at the cross. And at that time, who had dominion? God did, through who he was influencing, which the rod is the one that led the way. The rod is the one that was doing the miracles, not Moses. It was the rod all the way through. That's why David said, your rod and your staff comfort me. What man talks about a stick comforting him? Nobody does, unless the man knows that that rod and stick is representing the authority of God. That's what comforts him. That's why David took a rod. It was the first thing David grabbed when he went to go fight Goliath. And you don't hear anybody talking about it. Nobody talks about the old stick. They're like, he went and he took a stone. Nobody. Listen, I got a song. I just got through. I just finished it about a week ago, and it'll be uploaded. I think the Descaled album comes up. Amazing. You hear any of the album yet? Descaled album? I don't know.
You showing out, brother.
Huh?
Big ups, man. You are showing out with that, brother.
Well, have you heard any of it?
Yes, sir.
But which songs have you heard?
You gonna hear me? You gonna hear me singing that live? I'm Your Garden. I love that one.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then what's the recent one you just dropped?
We just hold on. We just dropped the entire album. It's on SoundCloud right now. There's about 8 to 10 songs on it. Have you
dropped the whole album?
Yeah, listen.
I thought you just dropping singles at a time.
Nah, listen. So the album is called Wise Man Anthem. That's the title of the album, but there are about 8 to 10 songs in the album, and one of them is a song called Wise Man Anthem. Okay? But the album is dropped. It's on SoundCloud. The entire album is on SoundCloud right now, and on January 2nd, all those songs are going to be dropped to Spotify, Pandora, iTunes. So January 2nd, the Descaled album, Wise Man Anthem will be dropped everywhere. Like you can go listen it to any musical platform that you have. Amazon, YouTube Music, whatever music. TikTok Music, I don't know if that has one, but... yeah. So, what other song are you saying you heard?
I like the way Brother Whitten is. I like the way Brother Whitten is re-illustrating. You know, that's beautiful. The Wise Man Anthem, the one you just talked about.
Yeah. And
then I'm Your Guardian.
Yeah.
Those are two I've heard.
Yeah. Well, when you hear the one I just made, so January 2nd, the entire album. So, hold on, you haven't heard. Bro, hold on a second, bro. So you only heard 2?
Yeah, that's it.
Hey, listen, you need to go to SoundCloud when you got time today, and you need to go hear the rest of them. One of them I think you'll like is Jesus' Faith. If you need to go hear that one. You need to go hear that one, bro. That one's but first of all, just to be clear, I'm Your Garden. There will never be a song that's going to outdo. And this one goes straight to the nucleus of who we are in God's eyes. It's going to be hard to beat, period. Ever. It's going to be hard to beat.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
Who choreographing your animation and everything?
You talking about
those things are dope, man.
Hold on, who's choreographing what?
Your animation and production and
I'm doing all of it. I did all of it, bro. Me.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Dang, boy, that's fire.
Yeah, no, it is. But I might be having to get some help maybe in the future. But over 10 years ago, I wrote about 250 songs. So I've been singing these songs for a decade.
You?
Yeah. No, I'm saying, bro, I'm saying to myself, bro, not going around singing. I'm saying to me, I
know.
Yeah, I wrote all these songs, man. I wrote them years ago, bro. I didn't have time. I didn't have time to go make a song. The song was there on paper though for years.
I'm gonna tell you right now. You can't teach how you teach without a melodious heart like that.
Oh yeah. If you pay attention
you can't do it.
No, if you pay attention to the songs, you'll know it comes from me. You'll know when you hear it. If you hear I'm Your Garden, 100%, you're like, man, Trot had to have wrote that. Because it's directly from what I've been teaching for years, bro. It's not, AI can't write that, bro. I don't care what anybody says. AI didn't write that. AI don't know how to put that together. I don't care what you say.
Hey, what's the name of the other one? The Wise Man what?
Wise Man Anthem.
It didn't pop up in Apple.
No, brother. I said, listen, the album has been released on SoundCloud. SoundCloud. The album for Apple, Spotify, Pandora, the album's not going to be dropped till January 2nd. January 2nd, it'll be on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, all that, Pandora. But it's not dropped to those yet. For whatever reason, they take longer. I don't know. Ain't nothing I can do about it. Yeah, I'm Your Garden is released on everything. So, guys, I'm Your Garden, it's released on everything. But the entire album by itself, it has not been released on everything yet. It's only on SoundCloud. So if you hear the album, D-Scaled's first album, you're going to have to go to SoundCloud to hear it. Okay? Amazing, you're here, man. Let me play this little piece for you real quick, bro. I'm gonna do this just because you're here. I'm gonna let you hear a little bit of Jesus's faith, bro. Just for my homeboy right here, real quick.
He's special.
Yeah, he's special today.
Lord, increase our faith. Which one of you has a servant who worked in the field all day? When he comes in the house, do you let him eat? Or do you tell him to first make you something to eat? Then he can eat. For those who have ears to hear is clear what you said, Lord. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Jesus, you are the substance and evidence of things hoped for and things not seen. Because you are the image of the invisible God who we hope to see. What is this place I live in? A foreigner I've become, to a place I once loved. What is this place where the people are blind and deaf? Your word here is in a form of a book, but they won't even take a second look. the one who comes. What is this place? Abraham's servant, Eliezer, whose name means God helps, was told to go find Isaac a wife. His servant did what he was told. Gideon was afraid to go to war, believing he would lose the battle. God told him if he was afraid to take his servant. Phurah, whose name means foliage, life. It was his servant that interpreted the dream, Lord. Why doesn't anyone in this place see or hear this truth? Lord, I see why I'm here. What is this place I live in? A foreigner I've become, to a place I once loved.
All right, amazing. You got to go find it and hear the whole thing, man.
Oh man, that's beautiful, brother.
Oh man,
I got it.
yeah. So it's on SoundCloud. The whole album is, and guys, January 2nd, the album will be on everything else. Okay, and it just takes, for whatever reason, it takes longer to go on other ones, but it is what it is. Guys, it is 11:40, almost 11:40. We got to hop off, but we're not done. Mike, we're not done. We talked about the site today. There might be a couple of more that I'll go over, but there's so much that I want to go over regarding what did they eat in the garden. But in order to understand it, all the minutia, which is like the senses of God, like all that stuff has to be seen and understood, and then you will fully understand what they ate. And everybody wants a microwaved answer, right? They're like, well, what did he eat? Just tell me. It wasn't and I'm like, bro, like you just automatically assuming that it's just a physical fruit. Why? Where are we getting this idea? In God's sight, that is not true. And because it's not true in his sight, then it is not true. Okay. So, but let me see.
I definitely want a microwave answer. Not gonna lie, I'm guilty.
Well, the flesh does. The flesh does. Okay, and I'll tell you what you are going to get from me is you'll just get the truth, but you're going to get it in a way that if you don't tell your flesh to shut up, then you're not going to get anything out of it, right? So you just gotta. This is considered a type of fasting, right? Your flesh wants its way, and you tell it you don't get your way. You don't get your way, right? So, what'd you say? Let me see. Benny became a foreigner in a place I once loved. Ooh, Benny picked up on that one. Ooh. Let me tell you, this is what I'm talking about. When it comes to God's viewpoint, it can't be faked. It can't be, right? So when I started understanding the Bible this way, and my eyes were open, I was descaled 100%. That phrase right there that I put in that song, I really was singing that from my heart, 100%. 100%. I could not believe that I started having a certain viewpoint that now I'm a foreigner in a place. I used to love this place, and now I'm the foreigner. But to God, while I love this place, I was a foreigner to him. So now reading the Bible and seeing that the foreigners, it all clicked. It all clicked, right? So 100%. So guys, if y'all want to hear that song right now, it's only on SoundCloud. And I'm telling you, the song is a blessing. Listen, I'm Your Garden. I don't believe, and this is again my opinion, I don't believe that a song will ever come close to I'm Your Garden. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be rude. It just will never happen. I've been singing that song for over 10 years, and I was finally to put it where everybody else can hear it. So, people are always like, oh my God, but you got to understand, I've been listening to it for 10 years. It's not a new song to me. None of these songs are. They're not new. It's stuff that I've been singing for over a decade. So, but I'm telling you, all the songs are on SoundCloud. So if you want to hear the rest of the songs, go to SoundCloud. They're all on there. And January 2nd, the entire album will be on everything else.
And that's why that's the expression, that's the description, that's your character. You know how when Dre says when he see you in person, you're the same.
Yeah.
You don't get overwhelmed. You know, that's when you got those songs. You got that right there. That's while David was whirling that slinging stone around. I bet that Joker was saying, "The Lord is my light and my salvation."
Hey.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, amazing. You want to hear what David was saying? Huh?
What was he saying, brother?
All right, are you ready?
Yes.
I wasn't going to play it, but for my boy, since he's right there, I wonder what David was saying, bro. I'm sorry. I got to do it. All right, so check it out. This song ain't going to be released for another month or two, okay? But I'm going to share a little excerpt. All right, so this song is called David's Secret Chord, okay? All right. This is Dave. This whole song's about David, man. David's Secret Chord. I'm going to play the whole thing. I'm going to go ahead and play the whole thing.
I watch my post both day and night, with God's right by my side, ready to fight. God searched for a man to do this job, but couldn't find one. He searched the whole earth and there was none who would meet the wolf, lion or bear in a sprint of a run. There are only men who work to get paid, but when the enemy comes are afraid, they leave their posts for fun in the sun. So I stand my watch both night and day, where I learn to play the harp, I learn to pray. I'm to and with my sling, people would rejoice if they heard, but to the Lord it's a small thing, a bigger battle lies ahead. One if I go in fear, I will surely be dead. Whatever this challenge is, my stone will hit its mark, for my comfort is in this rod and that of Moses' arm. Not the outer appearance of man, I pick the heart that I placed in you was first indeed. From the start, from stone and flesh, you became good ground. From dry and desolate, garden of Eden is in you now. I'm the garden, that's how you grew. Keep your eyes closed as I make you new. I'll continue to play my melody. Get ready, here it comes. Tell me what you see. You chose me to be king. I want to rejoice that you are my Lord, but I don't know how to play a chord. Can I just hear you sing? With your arm by my side, I'll hold the harp. I'll close my eyes and imagine you. My hands are yours to play a secret melody. For I am a circumcised Jew. Who is this uncircumcised Gentile? as I stand my watch both night and day. An unstoppable melody. To not play your harp is a disgrace. I will play the song you taught me in your sacred place. You showed me your sacred chord. It's a weapon, it's a sword. Against Goliath I struck a chord. It roared, it was the Lord. Not the outer appearance of man. I'm looking the heart. The heart that I placed in you was first in me. From the start, from stone to flesh, you became good ground. From dry and desolate, a garden of Eden is in you. Now I am the gardener, that's how you grew. Keep your eyes closed as I make you new. I'll continue to play my melody. Get ready, here it comes. Tell me what you see. Tell me what you see.
Man, did you hear? Did you hear what he was thinking?
Awesome, brother.
Yo, I want that in Spanish. I want that one in Spanish.
I might have to make. There's a couple of them, bro, that I might have to put in Spanish, man. I might have to do that.
Yeah. That would be if it's able to do in Spanish and have that same touch. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Hey. Now again, I chose a woman on purpose, right? The voice of a woman to sing this for a reason, but it's David, and he he says, I mean, you know, just when I was writing it out, I was like, I know exactly what David's gonna say. And the part that I was, you know, once I was putting it down, because all the songs, bro, these songs have been written for a long time. But when I was choreographing the whole thing, there's only two little things that I changed. And one of them was that when the stone hit Goliath, we all know that the stone struck its mark. And so I said, okay, I know exactly what I'm going to say right there. And it was going to be the chord. And he played God's secret melody, and he says, he said, he said he struck a chord, and then yeah, he said, hey, because
that was fire.
Yeah, so if you've ever heard me go through the teaching regarding David and Goliath and the stone, when I go through there, I always talk about how God's Bible. The word of God there's a melody in it. I know there's a melody in it. And the point I'm getting to this story is David shows us God's melody, and Jesus is the answer. And so when I put, he struck a chord, and then I also, if you just pay, I mean, that part just came out phenomenal because he strikes the chord, and then it says, in the same area, it says that it roared, that the noise roared. And it just so happened that we know that he's the Lion of Judah. And after it roared, it was the Lord. I mean, it couldn't have come together, you know, and I've had someone say, hey, is AI couldn't write that if it tried. Okay, get off with this. Listen, you go to one of these apps and you go, write me a Christian song. You're going to get the same old hogwash you've been listening to for years, but coming from the heart, it ain't going to come out this way. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm telling you, you should be able to tell when someone wrote something and when they didn't. Again, regarding God, okay, I can get any one of those apps and then tell it, hey, write me a, Michael, you're good, man. Have a good one, bro. Have a good one. Yeah, struck the carnal mind. Exactly, Tammy. That's exactly what happened. And again, in the song, I'm showing that the secret melody, the striking of the chord, is the gospel. I made it real clear in the song. But Amazing's like, man, I bet David was saying, I said, let me show you what David was saying, bro.
I know he was singing a melody. I know that. He was not fear.
Yeah.
He wasn't fearing nothing.
Trot,
yeah.
Reverend Mark said, Hanger 1, I hope you had a Merry Christmas and are having a very blessed day. Over.
Who said that?
Reverend Mark walking God's path.
I don't know who that is. Do y'all know who that is?
Nope.
All right. Well, bless y'all also. Anyway, all right. So that song ain't gonna come out for probably I want to say it might come out in February, where you can actually put it on iTunes and then actually just jam to it in your own vehicle. And it might be a whole album, it might be another 8 songs. I got about 5 or 6 of them done right now. So, and that's one of them. But I promise you, I didn't ruin nothing. If anything, you want to hear that song again. Okay. So I'm just being honest with you. But let me see. All right, guys, anybody got anything? Oh, go ahead, Bill.
Yep, Trot, watch the thing I DM'd you.
Watch the thing you DM'd me?
God bless. Enjoy that brisket.
Oh, I'm about to go enjoy it right to the now. I'm about to go enjoy it.
I heard the roar. I heard the roar of the belly a little while ago.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
You heard
hungry.
it. Yeah, you heard it more than once. Yeah. Even amazing on that album. There's a song called "Spirit, Soul, and Body" on the album that's on SoundCloud, and it's awesome too, man. So definitely check that out. John Willington, what's going on, John?
How are we doing today?
We're doing amazing. How's things going with you, man?
Blessed. Hey, I got a quick question. When you guys are going to Hebrew when you're studying, are you guys using something else besides the Strong Concordance?
Yeah, you can use logos. You can use Blue Letter. They're it's on the internet, like an app. It's called Blue Letter or Logos.
Oh, okay.
I do that if I'm looking for something quickly, but I don't use those if I'm studying. If I'm studying, I use my physical Strong's Concordance because it forces me to slow down. But if there's something I just need to quickly look up, I'll use Logos or Blue Letter because it just gets me there faster. But that's because I can't remember where it's at. You know what I mean? And it electronically helps me. But if I'm studying, 99% of the time, I'm using the physical books, and it forces me to slow down.
Yeah, I'm sometimes when you're going over stuff in some of your videos, I'm like trying to keep up, and by the time I'm flipping through my Strong Concordance, you guys have already said the answer.
Hey,
so.
And the good thing about it being on YouTube is just pause that bad boy. Just hit pause, you know. But yeah, if you want to follow with the videos, dude, 100% get Blue Letter, get Logos. I use both of them often. Well, I haven't used either one of them in about a month or two. I feel like I forget what to do sometimes. I'm like, hold on, what do I do again? But once I get up and going again, it's no issue. But yeah,
that was my only question.
Okay.
Before your internet connection was better, you know, some of it would cut out, and it would cut out on some things, and it's like, you know.
Yeah, so man. Yeah, no, man.
I just wondered if.
Yeah, no, the internet was
a better way to study.
The internet was pretty bad. It's got.
You say they got that tower out of there yet, Trot, or no?
What do you mean?
The fallen tower.
We got the top half, but the other half. So basically, when the people come for the insurance company, like to redo the roof and all that, they're gonna rip it out. I'm just gonna let them rip it out. I got the main part that was all over the yard. I got that taken care of. All right, guys, we're done. Hey, go have a Merry Christmas. Anybody got anything before we go?
Hey, I know. Listen, I know you got to go, man.
Yeah.
I just want to. This vision just won't leave me alone, man.
What?
About it ain't about the Trinity, but it is. But I'm trying to. I just want you to picture this. And the best way I can explain it is the tabernacle, right? Now what I'm saying is, if I stand the tabernacle straight up from heaven to earth, right? The way, the truth, and the life, but in reverse. So the way being the door, right? You go in through the door. The door you go into the way, then you go into the holy place, the truth, and the life is the Holy of Holies. Is that right?
Yeah.
So I see Jesus. Let's say if he coming from heaven or going from earth to heaven. So when he goes in, he is the door. But I'm saying that's the high priest. He goes in through the door, right? He cleanses, he washes us. He goes into the holy place. He lays down his life, and then he ascends to all above, far above all principalities and powers. And he said, "You know me no more after the flesh, but by the Spirit." So, would you say that we, as the body of Christ, that we are the Son? What I'm trying to say is, does Jesus some kind of way dissolve into us, his servants, his body, and then he becomes the one that sits on the throne in the Spirit?
Yeah, all right. Okay, so all right, let me say this. That sounds like, listen, there's obviously a lot of stuff we got to talk about based on what you're saying, but I got to go. So you need to come tomorrow morning. And you know what? 9 times out of 10, you don't come the next morning. You need to come tomorrow morning.
I'm coming.
All right, listen, you come and you ask that question. We'll go through there because I got to go. But my brisket is calling my name. You hear me? Anyway,
I'll take God bless, amazing. I'll take the odds against that.
All right, guys. We'll see y'all. All right, we'll see y'all in the morning. We'll see y'all in the morning. God bless.
Thanks.
Go watch Dallas get beat. Bye.
Dallas is done this year, just like your Giants.